He says, bearing with one another, verse 13, and forgiving each other if anyone has a complaint against another. Indeed, as Messiah forgave you also, so also should you. Do you know how much problems we deal with in the body that's you guys having an issue with each other? A lot. You guys get triggered, you get your you-know-what hurt. We're generating a nice form you can fill out for that. We have a cream for it too. Because you guys get your rear ends hurt all the time. Because, somebody did this or somebody did that, or they didn't do this or they didn't do that. It's like, you know what? You're dealing with an imperfect world with imperfect people. That stuff is absolutely going to happen, like all the time. Get over it. Accept the reality, okay? He's like, look, you need to bear with one another. Well, you wouldn't have to bear with each other if you guys are so perfect. Why would you have to bear with one another? Bear, what does that mean? It means patiently tolerate, okay? Guess what? Everybody has to tolerate you. Amen. And trust me, that's a work right there. If you're honest, you should think that anybody having to tolerate you has a lot to deal with. Okay, everybody should be like, As a matter of fact, husbands and wives, you should be thinking, I deal with a lot with my spouse, and then you should wait a minute, they deal with a lot with me. You ever think from that side? Oh no, you're just thinking about, man, the things I gotta deal with would take from my spouse. Yeah, but what do I got to deal with you? Are you so wonderful? Oh, I don't do anything, I'm sure if we sat down and talked, we'd figure out that you do plenty, okay? And they have to tolerate it. And without the tolerance, we don't get anywhere, right? Well, actually we do, we end up in divorce. Or we end up in my office counseling all the time. Okay, bearing with one another, forgiving each other if anyone has a complaint against another. Oh no, you don't forgive each other when there's a complaint, you elevate it, and you go and tell all your friends about it, and then you come and tell the leadership about it, or you tell people who aren't even leadership, but you think are leadership about it. So instead of having a complaint against somebody, you go and complain to everybody about that person. Why are you going to everybody? And then you post it on Facebook, and you post it in chat groups, and you post it everywhere. You have a complaint, he says, forgive each other. He says, forgiving each other if anyone has a complaint against another. After all, Messiah forgave you. He had plenty of complaints against you. Would you agree? And he forgave you. Yeah, well, I'm not going to forgive them until they apologize. What's that have to do with it? He died and was resurrected to forgive your sins before you were even born. Before you could even think to apologize, before you even did anything. Well, they're not going to apologize, then forget it. Go listen to the forgiveness teaching. Nobody said you got to reconcile or restore, but you have to forgive, okay? And you have to understand what that is. So go listen to that teaching. It's a very, very, very important teaching. Forgiveness, reconciliation, and restoration. All right. Above all, verse 14, but above all, wow, that was a lot of stuff already. But he says, above all of this, put on love, which is a bond of perfection. Now he's talking about the agape love there, the love where it's unrestricted, doesn't matter what the other person does, you still love them. You may not like them very much, if you understand what I'm saying, and you may not want to be around them, but there's a love there. There's a boundless love that is situation irrelevant, okay? My children, whatever they do in their lives, I will always love them. My spouse, my wife, doesn't matter, I will always love her, okay? That's the love you need to have for each other as well, where it doesn't matter what they do and everything else. You may have some challenges, you may not be able to interact with each other right this second, but you love them, okay? And that's important that we can get to that place. Okay, we have that love. Because that love means that you always want well for them. You always hope well for them. You always pray good for them, even when you're at odds and in clashing, because you still love them, okay? You may not be able to sit in the same room with them, but you still love them, okay? I know these things don't sound like they make sense, how they can all be at the same time, but they can, all right? They can. You can still love the one who's irritating you more than anybody on the planet.